gotta be kidding me. You're gonna risk the entire mission for a mental defective dressed as a court jester.
This coming from a guy that wears a toilet seat on his head.
We don't leave one of our own behind.
Hopefully Harley's still alive.
No funny business, Colonel. These are dangerous people.
Team 2 is clear to go.
Fire on. 3, 2.
What are you guys doing?
What?
We're here to save you.
You were gonna save me?
It was a really good plan, too.
Well, I can go back inside and you can still do it.
That's patronizing.
I'm so sorry. Harley Quinn.
Blood sport.
The Suicide Squad, not to be mistaken for Suicide Squad, which came out in, I think, 2016, is a 2021 James Gunn action superhero movie starring Idris Elba and John Cena and Margot Robbie and a bunch of others. Joel Kinnaman plays Colonel Rick Flag. I just got to say straight off the bat that I did not have high expectations for this movie, given the fact that I don't really have high expectations for any of the DC properties at this point. And the first Suicide Squad movie, which I feel like they're kind of just going to try to ignore even happened.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm just going on to Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh.
I wanted to check the score for that new Suicide Squad movie. Oh my God!
What did you learn from the internets?
Well, the score is really bad.
Oh, well, that's no surprise.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't have high expectations, but I was really pleasantly surprised by this movie. Now, I do want to warn everyone that this will be a spoiler review. I don't really feel like beating around the bush when I'm talking about this movie, so go watch it and then come back, or don't. I was actually surprised how much I enjoyed this movie. Idris Elba, as always, is fantastic. All the actors in this movie. John Cena, John Cena's not known for being a great actor, and it's not like he gave an Oscar-worthy performance or anything, but I really enjoyed John Cena in this movie.
Whereas Peacemaker says...
Nothing like a bloodbath to start the day.
He's like a douchey bro, but a patriot at the same time.
He says, if it adds to peace, you need to kill people.
I got a clean shot on the only one in the office.
And his character, Ratcatcher 2, is played by Daniela Melchior. And I thought Daniela Melchior was really good. She was really charming, really charismatic. I really liked her character.
Ratcatcher 2 controls and she can talk with rats.
All right, calm down with the rats.
I think that is the strong suit of this movie. It has a really good cast and a good squad of characters that you're following along the way, and the dynamic between them, the relationships that they form amongst each other. I think that is really the strong suit of this movie. It's also really creative. There's an action scene at one point where John Cena is fighting Joel Kinnaman. Colonel Rick Flag is fighting... What's John Cena's character's name? Hold on one sec. It's like Peacemaker or something. Yeah, Peacemaker. And, probably the first 10 seconds of the fight are being reflected off of John Cena's helmet, which is lying on the ground. And it's little touches like that. Is that the best way to show a fight scene? Probably not. But little touches like that really show how creative they were when they were making this movie, and how willing they were to try out new things and kind of be out there with it. You can really tell that James Gunn had a lot of fun. You can really tell that the actors had a lot of fun. The weakness of this movie is the plot. The plot is a pretty cliche, copy paste kind of plot. The villains are also very cliche, copy and paste villains, which I think is actually okay. I think that really the thing that you want to focus on more than anything with a movie like this, with a team up superhero movie are the superheroes, you know, anti-heroes, if you want to call these particular characters anti-heroes, whatever, but you want to focus on them. You want to focus on the relationships that they form with each other.
Suicide Squad was exciting to me because we're going to introduce more DC characters than any film has ever done.
Forgot the rat.
Obviously, if you have a great villain on top of that, that adds to it, but your main goal has to be building this team and making the audience care about the members of this team, and it's a lot of fun.
That is what the movie's about to me. The most brazen thing about the film is the special moments between characters.
It's just suicide.
Well, that's kind of our thing.
There are a lot of jokes and gags in this movie that I thought were really funny. One of the superheroes, he's like Polka Dot Man, and he like shoots polka dots.
Polka Dot Man is a product of experiment gone wrong.
And he's played by David Dastmalchian. And I thought David Dastmalchian gave a great performance, but there's a really clever and funny bit involving his character in which he sees everyone as his mother. I hate saying subversion. I feel like the word subversion has been poisoned by old Rianne Johnson, but there is a lot of subversion. There's a segment where Margot Robbie is kind of getting romantic with one of these bad guys, and the segment is drawn out probably for 5 or 10 minutes, where you think, like, where is this going, you know? It kind of legitimately seems like these two might get married even, and then out of nowhere she just shoots and kills the guy, you know. Little things like that I liked. Also along the subversion aspect, they start out the movie with basically a whole nother team who you just assume is going to be kind of your main cast of characters, and they kill them off immediately, and you find out that there was another team there too, and that ends up being kind of your main cast of characters, which is also fucking genius. You know, Michael Rooker, who's part of that first team, you think, okay, he's going to be, you know, he's going to be a main character. Nathan Fillion, another big actor, he's part of that first team. You think, okay, he's got to be a main character. Pete Davidson, who's part of that team, you think, oh, everyone, you know, he's popular right now. He's got to be, and they kill off all these guys, and it's fucking great. Now, Pete Davidson, I've never understood the hype behind Pete Davidson. I've always thought that Pete Davidson has been handed opportunities that perhaps he didn't deserve. I mean, you know, maybe that's just my opinion, but I don't think the guy's terrible. I don't hate the guy. I don't think he's like the most unfunny guy in the world or anything, but I don't understand where the hype is. I don't understand, you know, anytime I've seen him on Saturday Night Live, I've always been left thinking like, well, why is this guy on the show? You know, he's not particularly funny, at least in my opinion. So on the one hand, I'm kind of annoyed to see Pete Davidson getting work so often, and in this movie. But on the other hand, I have to wonder if James Gunn and maybe some of the writers of this movie knew, or not knew, but had the same sentiment towards Pete Davidson, because his character is done dirty, man. His character acts like a bitch.
Oh my god, is it a werewolf? I wanted to meet a werewolf forever.
Yo, they turned me into a werewolf? Yo, let me out. I do not a werewolf, bro.
Yeah, he's not a werewolf, okay? He's a weasel. He's harmless.
When they're flying to the little island where they're going to have most of the plot, his character immediately discloses the fact that he betrayed the rest of the team, and he's a fucking Benedict Arnold turncoat, and his character gets shot in the face. You know, and all this stuff happens within 5 minutes of each other, and that's all his character gets to do. You know, his character never never has any cool moments or anything like that. So
Blackguard, the original character, has like a really long purple ponytail. There's nothing cooler than being in the Suicide Squad.
Viola Davis, another fantastic performance from Viola Davis. Look, Amanda Waller is not supposed to be a good guy. She's obviously not a good guy. She's not supposed to be a character that the audience likes, you know, and Viola Davis really pulls that off great.
I think these are characters that anyone can fall in love with and anyone can hate.
I love the whole idea of the anti-heroes. I sort of like playing the badass.
She is a cold-hearted bitch, man, and it's just a great performance. Again, this is spoilers, so go watch the movie. I don't want to ruin the whole movie for you, but at the end, there's a point where you think she's gonna basically kill what's left of her team out there because they're being insubordinate and they're not listening. And one of her employees that works there in that command center knocks her out, hits her over the head with a stick and knocks her out. And it's really satisfying, man. And you know, it's also something that they set up throughout the movie and earlier on, because there will be scenes where Viola Davis threatens something, you know, threatens Idris Elba's daughter, whatever, and these characters are like looking at each other and like, man, is this bitch serious? She's gonna kill a kid over this, you know? And so they really do plant those seeds early, and so when it happens, it's not unbelievable that this would happen. Although after the fact, it shows Viola Davis sitting in her office just kind of pissed off, and you have to wonder, like, wouldn't there be like real repercussions for knocking your boss out like that? So who knows what happened there. I do have a couple nitpicks here and there. I thought the alien starfish thing was a pretty terrible plot device. Not just because it's kind of something that's been done over and over, but also it seemed way too silly, you know, this cartoony looking starfish thing. I know that these movies have a very colorful, you know, cartoon like aesthetic to them, but I don't know. I thought this starfish thing was a little too silly. There are things that happen, you know, this starfish shoots out little miniature starfishes that latch onto your face like Alien or something, and take over you. You know, this is a classic Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of thing. And, you know, that's fine, I guess, whatever. But there's a scene where the Suicide Squad's standing amongst an army, basically, amongst hundreds of soldiers, and this thing spews out its little minions to start taking over bodies. And I swear to God, the only people that are smart enough to cover their face are the Suicide Squad. And all these soldiers are just standing out there with their head way out so that they can get, you know, snatched up. Not a single one of them even tries to like cover his face or anything. It's kind of ridiculous. So all those soldiers get body snatched, and of course all of our heroes are fine. They have no problem swatting these things away. You know, that to me, that just doesn't pass the smell test. The soldiers in general in this are just they're too incompetent. You know, you never get, at least for me, I never got a real sense of danger from these soldier characters because they're just too incompetent, man. Hundreds of them can't take out a group of 5 dudes, you know. And something very similar happens, you know, 10 minutes later. When the rat caller, what do they call her? Rat Catcher 2, when she summons all these rats to take out this ginormous starfish thing. The same kind of thing happens. These rats are like flowing over these soldiers that have been body snatched, and You don't see any struggle. You don't see, like, the second this flood of rats hits them, they just fall over like bowling pins. And that's it. And that's not what would happen, man. You'd be throwing rats off of you. I mean, how long would it take a bunch of rats to kill you? A long fucking time, man, you know. They'd have to fucking eat you until you bleed to death, essentially. And so again, that bugged me, seeing these rats just like flow over these soldiers and knock them down like bowling pins, and there's no fight about it, you know. Those things are totally nitpicks. Like, obviously, something like that has no effect on the story as a whole. All in all, I really enjoyed this movie. I think that even if you kind of have been experiencing superhero fatigue, like most people at this point have, that you'll enjoy this movie. I enjoyed the hell out of it. There was enough there that surprised me. I enjoyed following these characters. I enjoyed watching these characters. Another little complaint, maybe this isn't such a little complaint I have, is that maybe they killed off too many of these characters. Because I would have liked to see Joel Kinnaman's character, Colonel Rick Flag, survive till the end. I feel like I know Idris Elba is going to be like the leader of the group going forward, but I felt like Joel Kinnaman was kind of grounded the group. He's a normal guy. He's a soldier guy. He kind of grounded the group, and I just liked his character. He was one of the only things that I liked in the first Suicide Squad movie, and besides Margot Robbie, he's the only thing, and Amanda Waller, he's the only thing that carried over from the first one, so I was really sad to see him go. I kind of get it, but I was sad to see him go. Overall, I can't knock this movie. I have to give it a pretty... I mean, I enjoyed the fuck out of it. So I'm going to go with 84 out of 100. That's a pretty high rating for me. 84, that's sitting right there, a solid B. And, you know, I think if you have access to HBO, or if you want to go to the cinema, I think you should see this movie. I think you'll enjoy it. And don't let the first Suicide Squad kind of, you know, make you not want to see this one. I think this one's worth seeing. So